Today I'm talking about drugs. No, not those kind of drugs, but more mental health drugs, and specifically my experience with prescribed mental health medication that I've had and am currently taking. Hey friends, Daz here. Thanks for coming back. As you know, or if you don't know and you're new here, welcome.
Hey baby.
I make nearly daily videos on mental health, personal development, and all the kind of crazy stuff in the middle of that,
which is all the sort of weird stuff that's going on in my head,
to hopefully help you change your mind, change your life. This is going to be quite an interesting topic to discuss, and it's taken me, to be honest, a while to not quite get up the courage to do it, but to really think about how to really approach this subject, because I think it's one that's not really talked about that much. So it's becoming it's becoming much more common these days to talk about mental health and mental health conditions, and the whole subject is a lot more open, and that's an amazingly good thing. We need to be much more open and accepting that it is a part of everyday life, and many more people than we perhaps think do suffer or battle or deal with various mental health conditions. So one of the things that I think is spoken about the least is the actual treatment that people are having. Things like medication and therapy. I don't know why that is, but my guess and my feeling is that it's because once we start speaking about medication that we've been prescribed, or therapy and types of therapy and types of medication, it makes it much more real and it makes it much more personal. It's to a degree easy to say I have depression or I have anxiety and that kind of thing, and that's an amazingly good thing, as I said, to open up about that and share that.
Well, it's no secret that the best thing about a secret is secretly telling someone your secret, thereby secretly adding another secret to their secret collection of secrets. Secretly.
But then once we start talking about medication, there seems to be, I think, still some degree of stigma attached to that, and it's a much harder thing to talk about openly with family and friends, and certainly not on a platform like this. I know a number of people do speak openly about it, and that's an amazingly good thing, and I keep saying amazingly way too many times.
Dumbass.
It still needs to come on more, and more people need to speak about it. So that's one of the things that drove me to do this video and to talk about my own experiences with medication prescribed for mental health conditions, and sort of the good and the bad, and hopefully it might help someone to realise that it's not a bad thing to talk about, and being open about it, and the more of us be open about it, the better and the more comfortable everyone's going to be about it. That makes sense.
I don't understand.
That's the whole point.
Now, alongside the reason about being open and sharing that information, and hopefully it will reduce the stigma, another reason to do it is to really say a huge you to all the judges out there who are so, medication is bad. No, you all. If that's your attitude when it comes to mental health, and specifically mental health and medication and therapy, because you can't accept one without the other. They do go hand in hand, and there's many opinions about whether medication is the right way and whether it should be more natural options, and that's all fine. That's part of the whole arena of help. But the fact is that it is an important factor that we all need to talk about, particularly those of us that are on medication and take medication.
Yay!
You can probably tell there's a little bit of anxiety in me now, because this is a weird said subject to speak about. I've never really spoken overly openly about it, and so I'm now feeling very awkward, but let's do it.
Well, I guess that takes care of the day's business.
Now, just as a caveat to this, I want to make it 1000% clear that the following stuff in this video is purely my own personal experiences with these medications, and my own personal experience should not be taken as any form of medical advice at all. I guess that's probably didn't really need to be said though, did it? So let's crack on with the history of me and mental health medication. Sounds ridiculous. As awkward as this is, let's get on with it, because I'm feeling very weirdly awkward.
You're a stupid dumbass.
My first experience with medication for mental health conditions was being prescribed fluoxetine, which is commonly known as Prozac. It was a weird situation because it was almost like taking that first tablet was a sort of a statement, or it felt odd doing that. Or I guess it felt to a degree kind of giving in, or this is a point where there's no going back from. I don't know. But taking that, firstly, it did help massively, and there are a number of side effects with that drug, and I'm not going to list them all now, but you can Google them and all that stuff. But I never had any adverse side effects at all, and I think I took it for about 6 months. I remember I stopped taking it myself rather than the doctor saying time to stop. I didn't really have any kind of withdrawal or anything like that, but what I did notice was afterwards I did ask my doctor about how long does it stay in your system, because it felt like I was still taking it, and what it came to be was the fact that I was sort of thinking a lot clearer and less kind of clouded and foggy about situations, and that's how I was thinking while I was taking it. And it really sort of highlighted to me that, oh, this is what it's like to be perhaps normal, and normal people or usual people, how they approach things and think about things. They're not so stressy and panicky and anxious about stuff like that. So that kind of highlighted that period of time. It really did help, and it was a good thing, and it helped me through a period of time, and it said no adverse side effects. Now, the next medication I was prescribed a few years after that was citalopram. And I think initially it was fine. It started to help and have an effect and all that good stuff. The side effects I had on that was quite horrible.
No, sir, I don't like it.
If I didn't take my dose at precisely the same time every single day, so if I took it in the morning, for example, and I missed the morning and then didn't take it till the evening, during the day I had these horrible kind of head spins, almost like electric shocks to my brain. It really was just a horrible physical reaction. Another side effect with it, and this sounds quite gross, and to be honest, it was sort of nighttime sweating. It sounds disgusting. This is a real sort of bare roll. Sorry. But it was, yeah, just waking up in the morning, just literally just dripping wet, just really sweating, you know, winter or summer. So along with the sort of the weird head spins and the over sweating at night, only at night, strangely, it was not the most enjoyable, if you can say that, medication to have. But what it was supposed to be fixing was right. It was doing its job, but it had these nasty, horrible, uncomfortable side effects on me personally. Now let me know in the comments your own personal experiences you've had with particular mental health medication, because I think we all can have different side effects or none effects at all with certain ones. I think it's a very personal thing how they affect us. So let me know below your experiences that you've had. And I've got another video talking about the importance of being open with mental health issues, and you can check that up here. And if you do like this content and do want to follow my journey and come along for the ride and all that kind of groovy stuff, don't forget to smash like, hit the subscribe button and hit the bell notification so you know when I'm releasing a new video. So continuing on and moving right up to date, we arrive at what I'm currently on, and that's sertraline. Now, I've been on that for a while and my experience is all good. No real downsides to it that I've found particularly. It's doing what it's supposed to do, and that's all good. However, when everything kicked off last November and everything went bang, and my dose was basically doubled.
Are you sure?
From 100 milligram to 200 milligram, because it felt that would kind of help, you know, quell things. To be honest, I don't know if it did. I didn't really notice any specific differences from a mood perspective, but what I did have was a horrible side effect of a really stiff, sort of muscular neck and like a clenching jaw.
Okay, what?
I was then recommended that I maybe go back to the 100 again, and that neck and jaw thing just disappeared. And I said I didn't really notice any particular difference in mood or mood control from going up to the 200 and back down again. So that's where I'm back now, and that's all good. And I said there's no other side effects on the dose I'm on, and it seems to be kind of all good. I've noticed if I do miss a dose for a day, which, you know, happens because I'm like that, then I can get a little bit sort of dizzy, but I guess that's sort of, I suppose, a withdrawal effect, but taking it, no problem, it's all Gucci, and yeah, I'm sort of happy with that, and it's doing its stuff.
Meanwhile,
now, whilst all that kicked off last November, one of the things I happened to develop, which was so wonderful, was insomnia. And so not being able to sleep was so frustrating. It was just horrible. And you get to the point where, if you've ever had insomnia, you'll know, you get to the point where you're absolutely exhausted and you cannot sleep. And it's not the fact that you're not sleeping until you get up and watch a film or read a book. No, you haven't got the energy, or you're not awake enough to do anything, and yet you cannot sleep, and you're just lying there moving around in the bed and it's just horrible. And so I was prescribed for this a drug called Zopiclone. Now, this is a fairly decent sleeping tablet. However, it's ridiculously addictive apparently. So the doctor would not prescribe me to have one every day, because then I'd never sleep without it. So I only get prescribed 6 tablets per month. And the idea being to take it as and when I sort of need it. And that's fine. And that works like a dream. But me being me and still wanting to sleep, I sort of added in some drowsy invoking antihistamines, but they did help me to get more sleep and all that good stuff. But the problem with those is you take one, and then after a while you get used to that, you have to take another, and it builds up. So I have to say I'm happily now. I haven't taken any of them for a few months, probably a number of months now, and that's all good, and I'm grateful for that, because it's horrible to have to rely on that kind of thing to sleep. But one of the ridiculous downsides and side effects to Zopiclone was this bizarre amnesia in the morning. So if I had one of the tablets, I'd wake up in the morning and not have any recollection of the night before at all. Literally, it was just a blank. And that was kind of scary, and also quite groggy in the morning first thing, and very sort of out of it and very spacey. So I guess it's such a powerful sedative that was the effect, but it was helping me sleep. But there's the downside. But I said, luckily I haven't had to have any of those for a few months, and that's certainly a good thing.
It's funny because it's true.
Again, after everything kicked off in November, it got to sort of February, March, April, and eventually I basically managed to get another appointment to be sort of reassessed with a psychiatrist. Eventually I was diagnosed with something not quite bipolar, but it's not quite borderline personality disorder. It's sort of in the middle of that, and there was a name for it, but I cannot remember it. But I was prescribed quetiapine, I think that's how you pronounce it, and this is basically a mood stabilizer. It's an antipsychotic drug, and it's to sort of quell things down a bit. And I've got to say, it's really been amazing since I've started on that. First, it has a little bit of drowsiness to it, so taking that at night has just helped sleeping, so that's all good. But also, yeah, it has sort of stabilised things, and I'm still, it's not quite a straight line. There's still some ups and downs, but a lot more aware of things, and that's certainly a good thing. And so having that has really, really helped. And again, no adverse side effects, so apart from a little bit of drowsiness, but taking it at night actually helps with sleeping. So I think overall, of all the sort of experience with them, I think what I've come to realize is that there's no one medication that's like, this is the answer to everything. I think it's very personal to you and your own physiology, as I've found out with the various ones, and some work better than others. Some will work for a period of time, then you have to change to another one. I think there's so many moving pieces in the whole thing that it's certainly worth trying different ones with your doctor and seeing what works, because my experience overall with it is that I've had ultimately a positive experience, and it has helped me and continues to help me.
All right, that's the way it is.
That's why another reason I wanted to sort of speak up and out about this, because I think few people do, and not enough people do, and it's a hard one. I mean, like I said, there was a little bit of anxiety doing this video, because it's really the first time I've spoken about it at all. So why not go straight to YouTube and put it out to the whole world? Didn't really think this through. Okay. But I think it's an important thing to do, and it's, you know, my discomfort in that is not really a relevant thing if it can help other people be more comfortable with it and speak about it and sort of take some of the stigma away. You know, me having a little bit of discomfort really doesn't matter. So yeah, that's it for today. That's the video. That's the episode on my experience with drugs. No, not those. Nice, dull, boring mental health medications. There's still a little bit of anxiety in there, which is really weird, really weird. After speaking about it now, this time, yeah, I think it's important to talk about it and be open about it. And the more of us do, the less of a stigma it is. And like therapy and stuff like that, I think hopefully if I can help one person sort of be less stigmatized by it, then we're all good. But thanks for sticking around. Thanks for watching the video. Hopefully you got some value from it, and if you did and know someone who may be in the situation, maybe share it with them, or share it with, you know, a parent or a friend or family member. That it might be a way of just starting a conversation that you may want to have with them, but this might just pave the way and lighten it a bit. Who knows? But if you did like the video, hit the like button. Don't forget, smash that subscribe button if you haven't already. I'd really appreciate it. And thank you so much for all the new people who've subscribed recently. I seriously am so grateful for all your support and following me. And for now, I will say, see you tomorrow. Bye-bye. Thanks again for watching, guys. I really do appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed already, make sure you do so down here, and check out my other video down here. Remember, live your best life. See you next time. Bye-bye.